Do you have to sell your current home to buy a new one? Watch Tom's Take right now to find out all the options. So, you have to sell your current home before you buy a new one, or you need to get it sold so that you can get financing approval or get the money out to buy the new property. That's a situation a lot of homeowners are in right now, and they're not really clear on the options. So what I wanted to do today on Tom's Take is break down all the different options that you have, and really there's going to be 3 of them. And I'm going to walk you through what each one, how it would look like, how that would work for you as the seller and the buyer, and what the contractual addendum would be that would apply to you. So the first option, and to me this is easily the best way to go if you're comfortable with this, is get your current home on the market first, get it sold, and negotiate enough time to go find a new property, or you already have your eye on 1, 2, 3 homes that might be of interest, or you got a backup plan in case you can't find that new home, meaning you can move in with a relative, you're okay with going into a rental or a temporary housing situation. You have that backup plan to move somewhere in case you can't find the new home. The reason I say this is the best is because once you sell your home, you become a much more sought after, qualified buyer. You don't have some oddball contingency, like a home sale contingency, that some sellers are going to decline no matter what. So let's say you don't have to go to plan B and move in with a relative or go to temporary housing. Rather, you find a new home and you want to settle on the same day. What's the addendum that you need in Pennsylvania to make that work? So that's called the Settlement of Other Property Contingency. How that works is that it's a standard PAR addendum. That's for the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. And it protects you as the buyer that if the settlement of your current home does not happen, you do not have to move ahead with the purchase of the home you're moving to. And you'll get all your deposit money back. You're not going to lose your deposit there. This is a pretty common one. It's very short. It's only 3 paragraphs. Very normal in today's market. So that would be the way to go. Option 1, sell your home first, then go to the new home, try to settle on the same day, use the settlement of other property contingency, or have a backup plan. Options 2 and 3 are where it gets a little more dicey. So there's your normal home sale contingency, and then there's a home sale contingency with a right to continue to market. So let's look at option 2. Which means go identify a new home and then try to get that home under contract before you list yours. So, and when you do identify that new home, what you ask the seller to do is take their property off the market and give you a fixed amount of time to get your home sold. That's where the typical sale and settlement of other property contingency comes into play. This one's a little longer. You can see the difference here. It's got 6 paragraphs, details everything. So the sale's contingent upon the purchase of the new home, is contingent upon the sale of your current home. It specifies how long it will take you to get your home listed, what price you're going to list the property at, and once you get a bona fide offer for your home, you're going to notify the seller of your new property that you can remove the contingency or you've come up with a way to get through that. So, and you're asking the seller for a certain amount of time where they're not going to be marketing their home. Option 2 here, if I'm working as the listing agent and I get an offer with this sort of contingency, I would never recommend my seller accept that. There's way too much out of their control. They have to wait for somebody else to sell their home where they don't have any control what the marketing process looks like, what's being done, how to price the property, all those key variables. And lastly, they're losing time when another buyer who doesn't have to deal with a sale and settlement of other property contingency comes along and they could go sell it to them. They're losing time and they're losing opportunities in the marketplace. So option 2, while it's an option, I'm not clear it's a great one, and you're likely not going to have a lot of success pursuing properties in that manner. So option 1 to me is the best. Again, sell your home first, then go find the new property. Option 2, probably the worst. So where's the middle ground? What's the gray area here? So same sort of process on option 3. Go find a new home you want to purchase, make an offer, and the key here is the addendum is very different. The addendum is the right to continue to market, or the right to continue to market with a timed kickout clause. So here's what both of these look like, all right? Both standard PAR addendums. So the sale and settlement of other property with right to continue to market allows the seller to accept other offers from another buyer. Now, without the timed kickout, that's very seller friendly. So a lot of buyers aren't going to go for that. If the seller gets another offer that's acceptable to them, they can just kill the deal and they're done. And buyer one who has the home to sell, they're out. The sale and settlement with continuing to market and a timed kickout, that's really the gray area. This is the addendum that I'm talking about here. So what happens if the seller gets a bona fide offer from another prospective buyer, then they have to give notice to the buyer within a certain amount of time. Typically it's 24, 48, 72 hours that they've got another acceptable offer, and the buyer has that timed period to either remove the contingency, show their financial ability to purchase without selling, or give a copy of an agreement because they got their home sold. And if any of those happen, then offer number two that came in, they're no longer in play, and buyer one who had the home to sell, they get to control the property. So if you're looking for a gray area here, you're afraid of moving without finding the home you want to move to, option three is going to be the way to go. The right to continue to market and a timed kickout clause. So I threw a ton of contractual information at you here. If you've got questions about this scenario as it relates to you, someone you know, they just need a quick phone call, some advice, all my info's at the end of the video. We're here to help. This is a very complicated thing, having to sell a home to buy the new one. Wanted to walk you through all the options. And if you got to go number three, that's where you really need to talk to somebody. We'll be back next week with more great content. Thanks for watching.